Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Hashtag Pastor Besties.
Dun, dun,
I'm
dun.
Nicole.
I'm Melissa.
Why do I sing things? I do not know, but I do.
It's a good thing that it's an original, otherwise we'd have to pay copyright fees.
Like on that last episode. Busted.
Whoopsies. Well, today we're going to talk about
Sabbath.
I whispered that like it's a secret. It's not a secret. We're going to talk about Sabbath and rest.
Yay!
So we're talking about resting and Sabbathing. I always make Sabbath like a verb as well.
Yes, Sabbathing for sure. Yes.
Sabbathing, vacationing, and just resting.
Let's talk about the disaster of my last vacation.
Ooh.
Because, my friends, I decided to take a staycation. You can't do it.
It's so hard.
You can't. This is what ended up happening. So I spent the majority of my staycation cleaning the house for the annual parsonage review, which was my own fault because I had to schedule time off, so I had time to clean. This is sad, but it's true. So that was not very restful. And then I inadvertently got put into a funeral. I had to do a funeral on my week off.
So basically, you did not have a week off.
No.
Yeah, you're right. It is a staycation disaster.
Yeah, staycations are always a disaster, I feel like, because you always end up doing, like, work things around the house or work for work.
Yes. All those
And you're
things.
in town, so you feel like you can't say no. At least I do, because I'm bad at saying no.
You see the people.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's hard.
Staycations are the worst.
They are hard.
When was your last vacation, Melissa? Oh, you shouldn't have to think this long.
I know when it was. I don't want to tell you.
Fess up.
January.
January? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Melissa.
It's just that there's
There's
Okay, so
no
there's-
reason.
There's a lot of reasons. Some of them are good and some of them are not. I mean, so January was my last vacation. I had a kidney stone, so I didn't take vacation then. I was sick. Sick time, not vacation time. I'm clear about
Not
that.
the same.
Not the same. Then I preached annual conference. I went to camp for a week.
That was just glorious. Remember the raccoons?
Stop bringing them up.
They're so cute.
Oh my gosh. Camp for a week where I was tortured and worked. Wonderful work, but work.
Yes.
We had
Agreed.
our middle school mission project, our high school mission project, and then there was a series of just some heaviness in the community. I did a funeral for a 14-year-old boy who died by suicide. I did another funeral for another mom of a 6-year-old boy. There's just been a lot of heaviness, and so it's been hard to get away. So, yeah, you're right.
I get that, but all of that says to me that you have to take a vacation.
I agree, and my staff parish committee agrees with you.
Good, because they're right.
They are, and they're super supportive. The congregation has been amazingly supportive through all of this, but having that support doesn't replace Sabbath, rest, vacation, time away.
Right.
So as I'm planning for my next vacation, which will happen soon.
It better.
It will.
You know Advent's coming, so
it's not happening then.
it's not happening then.
But it will happen. So I'm thinking about where do I want to go? What do I want to do?
Yes.
So what's your best vacation?
Oh my gosh, I am a beach girl, so I just want to sit on the beach for a week and read and play in the ocean and
Drink adult
love
beverages.
It. I drink Coca-Cola, but I love it. And so Steve's not a beach person, but I talked him into going to the beach this last year. And we took the kids and they loved it. And then we did Disney for just a day, which was perfect.
Oh, magical.
It was magical. It was really great.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah. I usually go to Southern California
SoCal.
for a couple weeks every January, usually. And I spend a couple weeks out there when it's gross here in the Midwest and it's snowy and I hate winter.
And then she tweets about it and I'm just like, I hate you. I don't want to check your Snapchats when
Yeah.
you're out there.
You're welcome.
It's not nice.
It happens. So yeah, I'm a beach person too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I think is important when you plan a vacation? Somebody told me this a few years ago, and I've started practicing it, and I find it totally to be true. The 2-week rule.
Yes. Yes.
The 2-week rule is that when you go on vacation, you have to go for 2 weeks. Because if you just go for a week, you spend the first part like winding down, and then the second half you're like starting to think about what's going on the next week, and so really you're not resting because you're thinking. So when you do 2 weeks, you have a half week where you wind down, then you have a whole week of rest, and then you have a half week where you're starting to wind back up again. And it is true, it's so much better when you take 2 weeks.
Yeah. Actually, my trip my next vacation that I'm planning, I'm going to do a train ride for that exact reason. That I'm going to ride a train to decompress, so that once I get to my final destination, I am just resting and not like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you send pictures of the train to my son Corbin, he will love you forever.
I haven't told my nephew I'm going on a train.
He's gonna freak out, right?
He's going to freak out.
Take a picture with the engineer.
So vacations are important.
Yes.
Time away is
Yes.
important. But vacations aren't always Sabbath.
No.
And Sabbath is not always vacation.
Right.
You can have some overlap. So when you think of Sabbath, for me, Sabbath is like a time of rest and refilling my soul.
Right.
And replenishing myself. So how often do you take Sabbath?
Well, I try to take Sabbath every week, at least a day every week. Sometimes that does not happen. And when it doesn't, I know, I feel it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I try to. How about you?
I know some of my rhythms. So I know on Mondays I am dead. Like I have no brain function to be able to have a meaningful conversation on Monday mornings, especially. So I don't go into the office on Mondays, but I usually feel like I can muster some stuff up to do worship prep or something like that. So Mondays I stay at home, and then Fridays are my day off.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah, and usually if something comes up on a Friday, I try and take another day throughout the week.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work.
It's hard because you've already got other stuff planned.
Yeah.
Well, here is my problem. I have what I call guilt relaxing.
That's an uncommon term, Nicole. No one has ever heard of that before. Has anyone felt guilty relaxing? This is brand new. I mean, I don't mean...
I coined the term. No, I'm just kidding.
Urban Dictionary.
Here's the problem. Like, I will sit at home and I know that, like, I've got a sermon to write or I know I've got this to do, and I can't enjoy my relaxing time because I'm like, I really need to be doing that, or the dishwasher needs emptied, or this needs done. And so it's so hard for me to find the time to just, it's okay to sit down and play with my kids or watch fabulous.
It's not meaningless.
Bravo TV.
It's not meaningless.
It's not.
Sermon illustrations. Or just stuff.
Delighting in how crazy other people's lives are. Ours aren't.
Yes.
I love Bravo.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andy Cohen. We love you.
Yeah, so Sabbath and a day off are not always the same thing either.
Right.
I mean, I can take a day off to do laundry, but I don't delight in that.
You don't?
That's
crazy.
Some people do.
Well, I guess that's true.
Yeah, so, I mean, so Sabbath looks like different for different people, too.
It does.
It probably, for as much as alike as we are,
Right.
there are some things that are very different about us.
Yes.
Maybe you've noticed.
Maybe you have. So tell me like what a Sabbath, like a true Sabbath looks like for you. Tell me about that.
I host once a month at my house a wine and pie night.
Which I have yet to been able to come to.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Well, it's all right. We have fun.
Good.
I
love
do.
it. I love it.
Yeah, I became a pie club member, like you do. Because doesn't everybody want to be a pie club member?
member.
Right? It doesn't sound amazing.
It does sound delicious.
Oh, Kate's Pie and Record Shop. That's a shout out for them. Maybe they'll be a sponsor.
Ooh, give us free pie.
They're so good. So I'm a pie club member. So once a month I can get a pie from them. And then the Prairie State Winery in Genoa, which is where I live. So it's right downtown. They have a wine club, which I'm a member of as well. So every quarter I get some wine. So I can't eat a pie by myself.
Well,
I
you
should
could.
not eat a pie by myself.
Okay, that's better.
And I mean, that's a lot of wine to get through that by myself. So I like to invite people over to share in that with me. So for me, Sabbath looks like being around people and just delighting in each other and delighting in food and beverage and conversation. And there's no agenda. Like we're not plotting to take over the world. Sometimes that happens. But that's not what we're there for. We're there just to be and just to do. So like there's work that leads up into doing that. Like I have to clean the house, I have to pick up, I have to do that kind of stuff. But I love it.
I think though that real Sabbath requires work. You know, when you think about like in the Old Testament, when they were Sabbathing, they had to do the work to get ready because they couldn't cook. So they had to prepare in advance. I think that's part of Sabbath is you have to work for it in order to really be able to enjoy it.
That's true. That's true.
But Sabbath for me, even though I'm an extrovert, Sabbath for me is like jammy day. Just sitting on my couch, catching up on my TiVo, you know, hanging out with my fam, and then maybe in the evening, like going out to dinner so I don't have to cook. Yes. Or going to Target, you know, just like getting out to do something. But for the most part, like I just want to do nothing.
Yeah, those days, I love those days too, but I don't call them Sabbath. Those are like my recovery days.
Oh, recovery days, right.
I mean, say it's same concept. Like I will just stay at home all day and do nothing. And well, it's not nothing because
it's something
watch
important.
TV.
That's important though.
It is, especially when your DVR is full.
It's stressful.
Oh,
When it starts like getting up there, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to start deleting shows I have to watch.
And then you have FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yes.
Or friends are spoilers.
You can't watch The People's Couch because they'll ruin it for you.
You already know who died on The Walking Dead because everybody's tweeting about it. Okay, so recovery. Oh, we got a little ranty there.
I also think it's important to spend time on Sabbath, like refilling your soul too. So you have to find ways that work for you.
Yeah.
But you know, for me, spending time in Scripture and praying and you know those kind of things are so important for me to refill myself, so that then I can pour out to other people, which is part of the job.
Yeah. I pray and color. I dance.
Oh, coloring, adult coloring. I know that's like the new wave right now, and I am on board. I love it.
This is such a hipster thing to say, but my spiritual director and I were working on coloring and prayer for like a year before it hit the mainstream. It was so hipster, spiritual hipster. Like that was gross, but yeah, it's so good.
If you haven't done it, go. You can find the sheets online for free. Get yourself some coloring pencils.
Just do it. Color. Love it. Love it.
Good.
So,
and it's something I can do with my kids, which is also fun for all you moms out there or dads.
Yeah. So I mentioned a spiritual director. I haven't seen my spiritual director in probably about a year now because I moved and distance and everything. But one of the reasons why I got a spiritual director, among a lot of reasons, was so when you're talking about Sabbath, like I burned out. I used to say I came close to burning out, but let's just call it what it is. I burned out. I was done. I was like a half a step away of walking away from ministry totally. Like
Gosh. That hurts my heart for you.
Yeah, it sucked, and it was so many things. My covenant group totally. That's where I do say that they saved my life because they were there for me when I needed someone to process through or talk through, and to hold me accountable to taking my time off. And I think it was.
Sounds like they need to step up their game this year.
It's a different covenant group now, and they have been. They've been working on it. Thanks, Sherry. But also my district superintendent at the time, when he found out how close I was to walking away, he took me out for lunch. And we talked about a lot of things, appointment changes, what I was looking for, and why I hadn't taken my time off. And so when he told me to take my vacation, he didn't force me, because he didn't force me to do this, but he told me to take a media fast also.
Ooh.
Oh, it was so painful.
Yeah, that would be hard
It was
for you.
yeah.
It would be hard for me too.
It was. And having my covenant group, they took my phone away from me so that I really did.
For how long?
It was almost a week.
You didn't have your phone for a week?
They gave it to me a couple of times because I got mean. It's like an addiction. At that point it was.
It is.
Because I was not using it for what it's really used for. I was using it to escape or to whatever. So yeah, it was a really hard and painful time, and trying to think, like, what do I do after this? And then finding rhythms back in life. I mean,
Yeah.
I fell out of love with ministry, and now I am more in love than ever. Of being in ministry, I love Jesus more than I ever have. I mean, it's all like it worked out, but it was hard work to get there.
It is hard work. So how do you keep that from happening? Because, I mean, I don't ever want to find myself, I mean, I'm sure you don't ever want
No.
anybody to experience what you
No.
went through, because it's, I mean, we've talked about it, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So how do we do that? And one of the things that I always share, like with people on my staff, is to keep track of your hours. I'm not handing them in to anybody, but I started the practice because there were days when I was just cranky and angry, and I'm like, why am I like being like this? And you know, when I thought about it, I'm like, I worked a lot last week, and so now I keep track of my hours every week. I keep a log. I have like years that I've done this, and I can look back and see like the busy seasons of ministry, and I know that I need to build in extra time away or extra time off or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's so helpful to me to do that, because you just don't realize sometimes
Yeah.
how much work you put in. You know, like when you go home and work in the evenings, if you don't really think about that, those add up.
It does.
fast.
It does.
And you could be working 80 hours a week.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Or, I mean, like, you know, keeping track of things. The other day I was Snapchatting you, and I was like, why am I so mean, or why am I so angry? Oh, I haven't eaten today. Whoopsies.
Hangry.
Hangry. I was so hangry. So those rhythms like that happen. Yeah.
So I think that for me, as a mom with 2 young kids, I find that if I don't schedule like a night off, I will be like, oh, here's a free night. Let's schedule a meeting here. Oh, here's a free night. And then I'll go like 2 weeks without having a night at home with my kids. And that's not fair only to my kids, but to my husband, who has to then get them ready for bed, do all the homework and everything. So I find that I have to schedule a night off and just be like at home. And then nothing trumps that, unless it's like, you know, something like emergency or something, or I can move it. But I have to do that, otherwise it's awful.
Yeah. Every once in a while, my nephew will call me or will text me via my sister Avi.
The nugget.
The nugget, that little nugget. He's 2.5.
That's cute.
And he'll be like, Aunt Missy, do you want to have dinner at a restaurant? Oh.
You can't say no to
Yeah,
that.
I mean, what am I going to say? No, sorry, I have 12 meetings today. I don't ever have 12 meetings. It may feel like it, but I mean, yeah. So to have that time to be able to escape and get away. Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to put a big giant X on your calendar and be like, nothing is happening this day but what I want to happen.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be church stuff.
Right. Yeah, you have to find what works for you.
You do. You absolutely do.
You have to find your own rhythms. I mean, your rhythms, your community's rhythms, your church's rhythms, because, like, it is not smart for a pastor to take vacation during Holy Week.
No, it's not.
I mean, that's not okay.
No, it's not.
Right? I mean, or Christmas Eve to be like, "Hey guys, I'm going on vacation today." You don't get to do that. So there's times that you don't get to take you don't get to take vacation during those weeks.
Right.
But to find the rhythm that works for you, and to pay attention to those rhythms. Like for me, having been burned out, I know what my rhythms are, and I know the signs for when I'm getting close.
Ooh.
So I know, like,
you can tell. Like, you can feel it, like, coming on. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm short at home for no reason, I know, like, okay, something needs to change.
Yeah. So it's important to take that. My friend April Casperson, she just said recently that we need to be ruthless with our time away.
Oh.
April is so good about so much.
That's like hits you in your heart.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Thank you, April. I don't know who you are, but I like it.
Yeah. So we have to be ruthless. And we have to do it no matter how hard it is.
I mean, God did say you should rest on the seventh day.
Did you just...
It's in the Bible.
That's the second time we've quoted scripture.
Yeah!
Yes!
We should have a glitter gun.
We should
Glitter cannons. Glitter cannons for scripture references.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's really sad. How many episodes have we done? We've only referenced scripture twice. We're not that kind of show. It's okay. Not that we don't like scripture.
Stop.
Okay, stop.
Just
okay.
don't
Digging a hole.
Dig it. We should get like trophies though. Like they do on Snapchat, this trophies in the award.
Yes. Can somebody give us a trophy?
Yeah. Anyway, so Sabbath, do it.
Do it.
Rest.
Do it.
Be.
Take the time.
Yeah.
Make the time.
Yeah.
And enjoy it.
Yeah, and use the hashtag Pastor Besties and share your best Sabbath and rest practices. Maybe there's something that you do that's like that really helps to refill your soul.
We want to know.
Yeah, is it blowing bubbles? Is it coloring? Is it praying? Is it jogging? Is it there's so many things that can refill your soul, and maybe that'll spark for someone else to be like, that's what I've been missing.
Let's be a community.
Yeah, share your stories. And may you rest in knowing that God has called you to be a human being and not a human doing. Mm-hmm. And may you find the rhythms to rest and to be.
We'll see you guys next
See you
time.
later.
Go take a break.